The PS5 Pro just got leaked. Are we ready for it? Is Sony gonna give us the features that we as gamers are demanding? Let's go over 5 of the obvious things that Sony should implement in the PS5 Pro that just make sense. In case you're not familiar with what went down, TCL had a convention where they were talking about what they needed to support with their next-gen TVs. And in it, they showed off the next-gen Xbox Series as well as the PS5 Pro in there, in addition to AMD's RX 7700 XT GPU. They speculate several things about these consoles, including the fact that it'll come out sometime late 2023, early 2024, which matches up with the release cadence that we got from the PS4 Pro, coming out 4 years after the launch of the original PS4. I know a lot of you might think it's too soon to have a mid-series refresh of these consoles because you haven't gotten them yourself, and I hear that, but that doesn't seem to be stopping any of these companies from marching on forward with the hands of progress, making things better and better for you. So from the leak, they indicate that they're expecting that this thing will be able to support 4K 120 FPS gaming as well as 8K 60 FPS output. Whether or not that's going to be true remains to be seen, but I do have a few things on my wish list that I think Sony should fix immediately in order to make the PS5 Pro a success. Number 1 has nothing to do with the PS5 Pro, and that's we need a PS5 Slim. We need a smaller version of this honkin' chunkin' behemoth of a console. The fact that it is significantly larger than the Xbox Series X, which is faster than the PS5, is just, it's a statement piece, but it's the wrong statement. So we were thinking something like this would be a great design for the PS5 Slim. Give us the exact same specs as the PS5, drop the price to $299, and then make it so that it fits everywhere, instead of making it so it can only fit in entertainment centers that are designed to fit Shaquille O'Neal. Having a PS5 Slim that actually is compact would allow Sony to potentially come out with something like this for the PS5 Pro. Keep the bold design statement, but relegate it to the people who are going to spend $500 to $600 on a console. Keep all of the people who only want to spend $300 having a normal box. But then you have the PS5 Pro, which says, hey, I'm luxurious. Thanks to Champ for coming out with these PS5 Pro renders for us. Number 2, what do we want? More storage. The fact that the PS5 only ships with 125 gigabytes of storage when several AAA games install for over 100 gigabytes was just almost unacceptable when this launched. It was made better by the fact that we have expandable storage in here, but I want Sony to give us 2 terabytes right out of the gate. It only makes sense to have that on the Pro version of whatever they have. They can keep the PS5 Slim to only having 1 terabyte, but we need 2 terabytes from the get-go, considering how large games are, how large they're expected to get now that things like Unreal Engine 5 are coming out, and I just won't accept anything less than that. I will still buy it, but I won't accept it. Sony will still get my money, but begrudgingly. Number 3, I don't only want more storage, I want faster storage. Considering the fact that we're expecting this to come out in 2023, 2024, I expect PCI Express 5.0 SSDs to be more mainstream by then, and I would love to see that implemented into the PS5 Pro. Give us extra fast storage baked into the console, give us an expansion port that supports PCI Express 5.0 SSDs, and we're looking at having some blisteringly fast speed. You think Spider-Man loading in 1.8 seconds is fast? No. I want it below 1 second. I want instantaneous, especially with Sony's implementation of the cracking compression and decompression algorithm, where they can take a 5.5 gigabyte per second SSD and make it so that it can actually do 8 to 9 gigabytes per second in effective speed. If we had something like a 14 gigabyte per second PCI Express 5.0 SSD, we could be seeing upwards of 20 gigabytes per second after the cracking compression. And considering the fact that PCs are moving this way with direct storage, I think this makes a lot of sense and is a continuation of the what's the word? Oh, I think this makes a lot of sense and is a continuation of the precedent Sony has established with what they wanted the PS5 to be known for. Could you imagine? Not even no loading times, but as soon as you hit continue, like it just pops.
That's what it feels?
It feels like that, but that's not what happens. Like the fact that you can time it right now is too much. I want to forget about the days where I could go to the bathroom in between starting a game and being able to load into the levels.
I think that becomes a problem for me.
Do you need to pee more?
Yeah.
As you've gotten older, your bladder can't hold it. Number 4, we want better software support. Something that Sony hasn't really done a whole lot with since they came out with the PS5 is give new features that I think a lot of people have been asking for, such as extra resolution support. Being able to support 1440p would be great. Even higher refresh rate support would be great. Not just having 120 hertz like we do in very few games, but especially if the PS5 Pro is faster, I want to be able to play games at 1080p, 240 hertz, potentially. Maybe even if they gave us support for 1440p 120, I'd be happier. Or more importantly, custom refresh rates. If I only have a 1080p 75Hz monitor, I want my console to be able to support that. Sony hasn't really done a good job of bringing that out, and I would love to see the PS5 Pro launch with a much better PlayStation ecosystem in a mega system update. But those are the software features I want. I want to hear from you in the comments. What software features do you want? And then lastly, I want fast. I want really fast. I want the PS5 Pro to keep up with what we're seeing in the improvements on the PC industry. We're expecting AMD's next generation of GPUs to double what the current generation is. And I would expect no less from the PS5 Pro, because currently what's in this is called a Navi 23 GPU. If they even just go to Navi 33, that means we should probably see twice as fast gaming performance. That means better ray tracing on the new games that actually support it and faster frame rate. Imagine them taking what we currently have where games can run at 4K 60 and being able to pump out 4K 120 thanks to the fact that consoles can put out worse looking games but run at really good frame rates. I want that. Additionally, I would love to see them upgrade the core count on this bad boy from 8 Zen 2 cores to 16 Zen 3 cores. I think that's not too unreasonable of an expectation of Sony that they won't give us the latest CPU cores, but they'll give us something that is currently out there on the market. But I want bleeding edge GPU with more cores on the CPU and more RAM, okay? This only has 16 gigabytes of RAM. And giving us more RAM, because it's shared between the CPU and GPU, give us 24, okay? I don't think these are unreasonable expectations. 16 core CPU, 24 gigs of RAM that's shared between the CPU and the GPU, and then the GPU is twice the speed, okay? By the time 2024 rolls around, when this thing's coming out, that doesn't sound unreasonable. The Navi 33 GPU will be over a year old by that point. The CPU will be 3 years old. I think that I'm not making too big of demands of Sony. But what do you want from the PS5 Pro? Let us know your expectations, wants, desires, and maybe hopefully somebody at Sony will see something like this and at least keep it in their noodle when they're designing the thing. You know what? The most important thing that I want is I want DPU support, okay? I want to be able to take my friggin' NVIDIA Bluefield DPUs and slap it on there natively. Sony, please and thank you.